Morning students, today we shall study our second poem of class 9th language and literature. Name of our poem is Wind. The Wind is written by Chinnaswamy Subramania Bharati. He was a Tamil poet and he is also known as Mahakavi Bharati. Subramania Bharati was born in 1882 in Tamil Nadu and died in 1921. Subramania Bharati was an outstanding poet, freedom fighter, journalist, and an outstanding writer. He describes about the powerful impact of wind. The wind is a very powerful agent that destroys everything that comes in its way. The poem Wind suggests that we have to make ourselves strong enough in order to face the vagaries of nature. There is an vernacular slang and idioms that implies that the difficulties, adversities and troubles comes in life like a wind, and it also leaves us in the same way. So all of a sudden troubles comes to us like a wind, but we have to be hopeful that these difficulties of life also leaves us with the same swiftness just as the wind. So here we have the description of this poem, The Wind, and in the first paragraph the poet makes an entreaty to the wind god, and this appeal to the wind god is come softly. The poet appeals to the wind to come softly, to come in a very gentle way. The poet appeals that don't show your fierce face to the humans, don't show your devastating impact to us. Instead, comes very softly. Don't break the shutters of the window. The poet appeals to the wind god not to break the shutters of the windows, because these are the only windows that keeps us safe from storm and thunders. Don't scatter the paper, don't throw down the books on the shelf. The poet appeals the wind god not to throw the papers and not to tear the papers and not to throw the books from the shelf, as he is a poet. There, look what you did, you threw them all down. So despite the appeal of the poet, the wind did exactly the same. The appeal of the poet was not heeded by the wind god, and it did exactly the same. The wind came and tore down the pages and threw out the books from the shelf. So the appeal of the poet did not have any impact on the wind lord. You brought rain again. So poet was also the outward agents of winds, that is the wind also brought rain along with it. So inside the room the rain becomes very messy and made the room of the poet very disorganized, and outside the wind brought about rain showers along with it. You are very clever at poking fun at the weaklings. So poet says that the wind is very mischievous. It is very clever. It makes mockery. It makes fun of the weak and fragile. Frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling woods, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. Everything which is crumbling, everything which is weak, the Lord of Wind is enemy of every weak things. So if the house is crumbling and weak, it will be destroyed, devastated by the heavy vagaries of nature or the wind. If the doors are crumbling, it will be destroyed. Wobbly doors will be destroyed by the agent of wind. And crumbling rafters, that is rafters over the roof, if they are weak, will be fallen down. Crumbling woods. So if the house made of wood is weak and crumbling, it will be destroyed and devastated by the vagaries of wind. Crumbling bodies. If we are physically weak, if we are mentally weak, spiritually weak, will be destroyed by the agent of wind. Crumbling lives, those lives which are crumbling, which are not resolute, not determined enough, will be destroyed by wind. Crumbling hearts. So anything which is not strong enough to face the difficulties of life will be destroyed. So wind is a synonym of difficulties, adversities and hardships of life. And if we are not prepared to face these difficulties in life, we are bound to be a victim of these vagaries of nature and wind and anything that attacks on us. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. The wind god winnows, that make the weaks to the sideline. Weaks are always relegated to the background by the agents of wind, so they will not survive the onslaught of the wind god. So he won't do what you tell him. So here up to now, here we see that the poet was talking and appealing to the wind, but now here for the first time the poet is appealing to the readers. He won't listen, he won't do what you tell him. It means that our appeal to the nature will not be heeded. The nature is always there. It is up to us whether we make nature our friend or enemy. Nature is neither our friend nor enemy. It is there, but it is up to us that we may invite him for friendship or we may invite for enmity. So if we are weak, nature is definitely our enemy. If we are strong enough, then nature will invite us for its friendship. So come, let's build strong houses. So how can we become friend of the nature? By building the strong houses. If we build the strong houses, if we are in a position to build the strong houses, then wind will become our friend. Let's join the doors firmly and practice to firm the body. Doors should be installed very firmly and practice to firm the body. We have to make ourselves physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit in order to face the difficulties of life. So here the poet says that make the heart steadfast. If we are resolute at heart, if we are devoted to our task, if we are resolute to achieve our path, success of life, the path of success, if we want to walk on the path of success with resolution, determination, then definitely wind will be friend with us. Only then wind will become our friend. So we have to make ourselves strong physically, mentally, spiritually in order to earn the friendship of wind. As the wind blows out weak fires, it makes strong fires roar and flourish. So if the fire is weak, if the fire is glowing weak, then it will be extinguished by wind. And if the fire is strong, it will be strengthened more by the agent of wind. So if the fire is strong, it's on the large scale, it will be given more strength by the wind. His friendship is good, we praise him every day. So the friendship of wind is very good. Why it is good? Because if we are strong, we will be strengthened more by the agent of wind. If we have made ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually strong, then our strength will be further enhanced by nature or the wind. If we are weak, we will be crumbled down and destroyed, devastated by the agents of nature. So we should always praise the these wind, and we should devote ourselves daily in the prayer of nature or the wind. So here is a quick glance on the lifespan of Subramaniam Bharati. Though he had a short lifespan, but has been an outstanding poet, and his poems definitely awakened the feelings of patriotism in India. Subramaniam Bharati was rather struck by an elephant he used to feed daily. So he succumbed to several injuries and ultimately died because of these severe injuries. So now let's have the question of this poem. And our first question is what are the things the wind does in the first stanza? In the first stanza, we see that the wind destroy the weeks. The wind comes in the house and tore down the pages of the books, throw down the books from the shelves, and destroy the shutters of the windows. In the second, have you seen anybody winnows grain at home or in the paddy fields? What is the word and language of winnowing? Winnowing is a process by which the straw and the chaff is taken out, and the grains are separated from these unwanted things like straw and chaff. So this is the process which is done in every household, particularly in the villages, and it is known as fatka, like these words in the local languages. What does the poet say the wind gods winnows? The poet winnows everything which is weak and crumbling. So anything which is weak and crumbling will be winnows by the wind god. What should we do to make friends with the wind? That is one of the most important questions. How can we be friends with nature or the wind? The only way out is to make ourselves strong enough. We have to make ourselves physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit. And if we are strong, our strength will be enhanced, will be increased by the nature or the wind. So wind is a friend only of strong. It can never be a friend of the weak, because to the weak it only destroys. To strong it enhances strength. So we can be friends with wind by making ourselves strong. What do the last 4 lines of the poem means to you? Yes, the last 4 lines reveals that the wind crushes the weak. If anything which is weak, fragile or frail, it will be destroyed, devastated and crushed by the agent of wind, just like a fire. If the fire is glowing very weak, it will be extinguished immediately by the wind. But if the fire is strong, it will be given more strength and the fire will spread far and wide. So wind is a friend of the strong. It is not a friend of the weak. So our next question is, how does the poet speak to the wind in anger? The poet changes its mood several times. On one times it makes an entreaty, makes an appeal to the wind to come softly, and then the poet adopts the accusatory note. The poet accused the winds of destroying or disorganizing his house. At one time, the poet is in very somber mood, in a very melancholy mood. Also, that the wind causes great destruction to the weak and the crumbling. And at one time, our poet also suggests to us that we have to be strong in order to survive the vagaries of nature. So in short, we say that the poet wind gives us a very powerful message, and the message is very loud and clear that we have to make ourselves strong enough in order to survive the difficulties and hardship. So anything which comes to us in the form of difficulties and hardships, it comes to strengthen us only. If we are weak, we will be crumbled and destroyed. So if we are strong, we shall definitely survive and overcome any difficulties, adversities and hardship of life.